Well, Eddie Jones has been sacked as head coach of England. Yo guys, welcome back to another video of mine. So in this video we are going to discuss the sacking of Eddie Jones and the way forward for England rugby. Because I just really think it's a big call. It's a big call that they've made to sack Eddie, and some would say it's the right call, others would say it's not, and we're going to get into that now. But before we get into the action, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and also hit that bell notification so that you don't miss out on the next video. So yeah, Eddie Jones has been sacked. In my opinion, poor decision. Poor decision. Poor. Eddie Jones is a fantastic coach, and England, yes, they didn't have a great season this year, but they were in a similar situation in 2018 where they had a poor Six Nations and they weren't good that year at all, but they still managed to get into the World Cup final just a year later. So I don't think what actually happened this year and what happened in 2018 is really Eddie's fault, because there's a lot of combos with the players that don't work, like the Marcus Smith Owen Farrell combo. It just doesn't work. Proved that It's been proved in the last few games that the two of them play together, and even in 2018, new players coming in, like that affects the team, and consistency problems will happen if you bring in new players and guys that don't really know the systems. And yeah, so this year as well, they had a few new players. I don't like the new scrum off that they have. I can't really remember his name, but he played scrum off against the All Blacks and the Springboks. For some reason they didn't select Ben Youngs to start, so Ben Youngs was on the bench, and this new guy played scrum off, and he that man cracks under pressure, man. I I'm sure he's a fantastic player on club level. I don't really watch this Premiership so much, but that man cracks on international level in certain aspects. So yeah, hopefully he can improve, but maybe he's one of the reasons why they also struggled. Like the try that they gave to the All Blacks, literally it's a giveaway try. Papa Lee intercepts the ball from the scrum off, and yeah, so there's a lot of things that went wrong for the England Rugby Union team, and as I said, I don't really think it's all Eddie's fault. That man, again, he's a fantastic coach, and he always has a plan. He always has a plan. They were so impatient, and that's why they fired him. If they were just a bit more patient, like just give him time. Post 2023, obviously, when his contract expires, then you can uh, make him resign or whatever. But they were impatient. Impatience ran out. So it's so dumb to fire your head coach literally a year out from the World Cup, particularly when that very same head coach got you into a final in the previous World Cup and almost won. Well, not almost, lost quite badly in the final, but they've beaten the All Blacks in the semi-final. But like Eddie, he's got such a good history with teams that he coached, like the Wallabies. He coached them in I think in 2001 he became the coach, and until 2005. So in 2003 they've also made the World Cup final. They lost by 3 points due to Johnny Wilkinson's boot. Uh, and that's, in my opinion, that's not Eddie's fault. That's Johnny Wilkinson's fault. But they were still very close to winning the World Cup. They got into the final, as I said. They also beat the All Blacks in the semi-final that year by exactly 12 points. And that's the same margin that England beat the All Blacks in 2019. Exactly 12 points difference in the semi-finals. So yeah, with Japan obviously achieved massive success. They've beaten the Springboks, and they also they had a good World Cup. I pity that they couldn't make the quarterfinals that year. They probably should have, because they've won 3 games, but Scotland and South Africa also won 3 games, so it came down to point differences. But yeah, also with the Springboks as assistant coach, I'm going through the history of Eddie now. As assistant coach, the moment he came in, uh, the environment just changed. We started playing better. Like we struggled before Eddie came in. Jake White was our coach since 2004. Yes, we've won the Tri Nations in 2004, but in 2006 we lost 49-0 against the Wallabies in Australia. So similar to the 57-0 in New Zealand. But Eddie came in quite late, just before the World Cup. So there was an immediate difference. He makes a massive difference to a team when he comes in, and probably that's why we've won the World Cup. I'm not saying it's just Eddie, but it was Eddie was really, he played a massive role in why we've won the World Cup. So the combo of him and Jake White worked. And then with England, he started off brilliantly due to the fact that I think it's because the players that Stuart Lancaster produced, well, basically the players grew together as a team and they didn't perform under Lancaster. But when Eddie took over, the foundation was already set there with the players. And so it was easier for him. And they were fantastic in the first 2 years with Eddie. 2018, as I said, terrible year. But they were also about to sack him. And then they've made the final a year later. Why wouldn't you just give him a chance to replicate what he did from 2018 to 2019? Because it's just, he could do the same in 2023. Just, he can replicate his performance as a coach from 2018 to 2019, how he turned the team around. And it's just a pity that they didn't give him his last year of his contract, because really I personally believed that he really had a big plan for England, and they really, in my opinion, they would have stood a big chance to win the World Cup if he was still their coach. Yes, they didn't perform well this year, but Eddie is a clever man. Never underestimate Eddie. He had a plan for them in the World Cup. And it's just a poor decision. England rugby will, in my opinion, fall apart now. So, yes, they have a good replacement for him, Steve Borthwick, yeah, the guy from Leicester Tigers. He coached, he was part of the coaching staff in 2019 when England, I almost said won the World Cup, when England made the World Cup final, and he learned a lot from Eddie, obviously. With Leicester Tigers, he did brilliantly. Like Leicester Tigers obviously won the Premiership on the Borthwick. They lost only 4 games in how many matches they've played? A lot last season of the Premiership. But yeah, the thing is, eventually with the Tigers, they were top of the log for literally the entire season. But the last few games, they seem to have just hang on to top spot rather than running away with it. Like they had a few close games against certain teams. And the thing, from what I've seen, the way our Leicester Tigers play, it's not attractive rugby. It's almost like the Springboks of, let's say, 2019, 2021. I wouldn't say now 2022, because we seem to play better backline attacking rugby, as proven in the Italy game and a bit in the England game. But yeah, they had a lot of, they kick a lot. There's the Tigers box kicks, and they kicked a lot last season. The play of the forwards, they don't really have super attacking rugby like Harlequins, for example. So I think one of the key ingredients that England had when Eddie was still their coach, the key ingredient that they had in the success that they had with Eddie, was the proper and creative and amazing attack. They had unbelievable attack under Eddie. Yes, they didn't perform in every game, but in the successes that they've had with him, attack played a massive role, a massive key role. And in my opinion, Borthwick will like mess up the attack now. I don't want to say that, but the attack probably won't be as good at now with Borthwick as it was under Eddie. But yeah, I think it's a poor decision. Borthwick is good, but I think it's a poor decision to not, first of all, the fire Eddie, poor decision, but then why wouldn't they give Robertson a chance? Scott Robertson, the Razor, the successes that he had with teams like the Crusaders, 4 titles in a row. That man can't lose a trophy. And the way he interacts with the players, he creates a amazing team culture. That man is a fantastic coach. The breakdancing, he likes to interact with the players, and I don't think Eddie really does that. So yeah, the perfect guy to replace Eddie, if you would have, if it was the correct decision to replace Eddie, would probably have been Scott Robertson, because, as I said, the successes that he achieved with so many teams that he coached, like also the junior All Blacks, under 20 All Blacks in the 2015 World Cup, they've won. He was the coach. With Canterbury, also, they were fantastic. And some people would compare Robertson to Mr. Robbie Deans, who also achieved massive success with the Crusaders and then went on to international level and messed up with the Wallabies, like really messed up. But the thing with Robbie Deans, first of all, he did not win every single trophy with the Crusaders in as many years that as he coached them. There were some years that they didn't win the trophy, like against the Bulls in the semi-final of 2007. They were kicked out. Robbie Deans was the coach. And then Scott Robertson, every year that he coached the Crusaders, they keep winning the trophy. They never lost. They never lost the trophy. So that's first of all. Second of all, Robbie Deans obviously had amazing assistants. When he coached the Crusaders, he had Wayne Smith and Steve Hansen. Just amazing coaches. And some would have said, or still say, that he seemed to be relying on his assistants, and that he's not really the reason why the Crusaders did so well. It's because of Wayne Smith. Same story with Dave Rennie and the Chiefs. Wayne Smith was there as the assistant when they achieved massive success. And when Robbie Deans went to the Wallabies, he didn't have Steve Hansen or Wayne Smith as his assistants. But I think with Robertson, that man can do well on his own, because, yes, Jason Ryan and Ronan O'Gara, they play massive key roles uh, when he coached the Crusaders. But Ronan O'Gara, even when he left and before he came in, they still managed to win the trophy. Uh, I like Jason Ryan as a forwards coach, but I think Robertson, I won't ever compare him with Robbie Deans. I think you just have to give that man a chance, because it's just unfair towards him. The success that he achieved with teams, he must get a reward on international level. I kept saying that when Wales, we're gonna get later in another video to Wales, obviously fired Pivac. I said that they have to get Robertson. They didn't. They obviously gave Gatlin the job again, which is not a bad decision. But then with England, if they ever fired Eddie Jones, they should have got Scott Robertson. That man just, you can't just keep ignoring him. So I really hate seeing this. So hopefully that man will get a chance after the 2023 World Cup to replace Ian Foster and coach the All Blacks, so that he can prove himself on international level. But anyway, the point is, England didn't make great decisions. England Rugby Union, it was wrong, the wrong decision to fire Eddie Jones. It was, in my opinion, not the best decision to bring in Borthwick. Instead, instead of bringing in Razor, just poor decisions made by England Rugby Union. So yes, these are my thoughts, and you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think it was the right decision to fire Eddie Jones and bring in Borthwick, or not? So yeah, remember again to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.